Well, good morning. This is Tampa Home Talk, and welcome to a very special haunted edition of Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell, with my sidekick.
Yo, how's it going? I think I got my last week when I said good morning. I think I nailed that.
I think you did, indeed.
Turn him up.
So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest for today's show. And if you're just now piping in, you don't want to tune away because we are going to be giving away lots of tickets today for some Halloween festivities all around the Bay Area.
So much fun. How do I get tickets?
I'm sure we can get you the hookup, Leo.
Awesome.
And I'm going to give you the studio call-in lines right now. Hold on to those, and we'll let you know when it's time. It's not time now, but we'll let you know when it is. 888-404-1010, 888-404-1010. Keep that number. You Facebook Livers.
I can't answer the phone because we have a guest on there.
No worries. I hate to tell you that our Facebook Livers are a little bit delayed. So when you guys hear the number, the tickets might already be gone. So you might want to tune in live to 92.1 FM, 103.1 FM, 1010 AM, and HD Radio 99.5 too. So without further ado, Pat, is our call-in guest available?
Yes, he is.
Let's roll to him only because of the technicalities and the challenges of being in our remote studio today and all the fun stuff going on with the Howard Franklin being closed. And I do not want to butcher your name, so I'm going to let him introduce himself. I think the first name is Geof. Is that correct? Geof Kledizk? Help me out, JoJo.
Geof, are you there?
All right, so we have the general manager for Scream-A-Geddon that's trying to pipe in. I'll let Pat work on that for a minute. Pat, let me know when you get him live.
I will do that.
And we will roll to him. So let's go ahead and run on over to our guests that are in the studio. Welcome back, Mr. Don Surenkamp with the Haunted Angelus House.
Thank you.
And we're glad to have you back on the show.
It's a pleasure to be back.
You've been doing this for how long?
This is our 12th year.
That's a long time. So we're going to talk about the Haunted Angelus House when we, a little bit later in the show when we come back. Let's also roll over to somebody probably a little bit more my speed, Miss Kelly Prata. Although some of the movies that you're going to be showing in the theater, I don't know, are my speed.
Some of them are probably going to be a little terrifying. Some of them are just campy, old school B-rated movies. But some of them are really fun, and some of them are very family friendly.
And Kelly, she is with Tampa Theater. She's been with us again on Tampa Home Talk, so welcome back.
Thank you.
And first-time guest, Mr. Shane at Murder House. Welcome.
Good morning and welcome. Thank you for having me.
Turn him up.
And I love just basically what you're doing. We're going to talk a little bit about your story in just a short while and what you're trying to do. And for the people that have been around in Tampa for a long time, that may remember Guavaween, we're going to talk about that in just a short while. So, Don, let's run on over to you. Let's talk about you guys, because you guys are only open for 7 days this week. Is that correct?
Yes, October 25th through Halloween night.
Or 7 days this week, this month.
Yeah.
So, October 25th through Halloween.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. And you guys most of the time you do a blood drive, don't you?
Yes, we do. Friday night's a blood drive from 5 to 10. We'll take anybody's blood.
How appropriate for a Halloween haunt. So what's up with the shorter time frame this year? How come only 7 days?
Well, we just had politics and things of that nature.
Shane knows a little bit about that. He'll tune in on that a little later, I'm sure.
But we are packing a lot in 7 days. We've got zombie midget cage wrestling.
Okay, do tell. Let's talk about this. What is zombie midget cage wrestling?
Well, we've got for 2.5 hours, we've got professional midget wrestlers. Are going
All
to
right,
be
your
dressed
caller's
out as
back and ready.
zombies. And then we've got adult wrestlers. So nobody's done zombie midget cage wrestling, so we have to do it.
Got it. All right. And then Sunday, you're doing a Special Olympics Day?
Special Olympics Day. It's free for anybody that's handicapped.
I should have put the date on this. What day are you starting? October 25th? Is that a Thursday,
25th
Friday?
is a Thursday, yes, ma'am.
That's a Thursday. Okay. So I would imagine, just writing these dates out real quick, the Sunday is going to be the 27th?
Sunday's 28th.
Or 28th. Sorry, I missed a day there. All right. So that's your Special Olympics Day. And tell me about that.
Well, this Sunday we've got 2 bands that play, but we open up at 4, and we've got a meet and greet in the parking lot with all the actors and all of our special friends. And it's probably by far the best day ever. It's the whole reason why we do what we do over there, because the number one goal is to be 100% handicap accessible for anybody and everybody that wanted to come to a haunt and not have to worry about the issues that you can get at other places.
Absolutely.
That is.
So that's interesting that you talk more about that. And I've got a really special guest coming up in November. For those of you that are regular listeners to Tampa Home Talk, you're going to love him. Not to spoil too much, but his name is Nick. And I was not going to tell you anything, Leo, but I'll spill the beans. Maybe.
Don't spill the beans.
Okay, I won't spill the beans.
Don't spill the beans.
You gotta wait. I got a great guest coming. This show is actually going to air the week before Thanksgiving, and we're going to rebroadcast that same show on Black Friday.
Wait, this show is airing the week before?
No, not this one. No, in November, my guess. But it relates to what you said.
I think I know who you're talking about.
You probably do.
I've read his books.
Yes.
I believe. An amazing man.
Incredible guest. I'm not even going to tell Leo. We're just going to give the whole surprise factor. Anyway, so some of the challenges I would imagine you have, because is it fair to say that your trail is handicap friendly? Is that fair?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
And so what would some of the other challenges be that they might have in a different haunted house? Say, for example, if they went to Shane, that murder house, compared to yours, what's that experience going to be like?
Well, all of our actors know that you've got to go on just a fraction of a second. You've got to go from just being as scary and wild and crazy as you can be to maybe just dialing it down, way down, because of our special friends coming out.
Right. But is there any, not to say like trip hazards, but do you have any different challenges like that where either maybe a chair can't get through or something like that in another trail, and that was kind of the purpose why you started this? Or tell me more about that.
Well, because the distance or the width of a wheelchair, you want to make everything to where you can spin around and get through, but you also want to have, the scare zones really good. You want to have them, tighten them up. And what we do, one room that we do out there is we suspend everything from the ceiling. And so as you go through, you actually have to push yourself through the room. And, it collapses around you. And, the wheelchairs don't catch it because everything's, hung from the top. But you get that claustrophobic feeling. And we do things like that it takes a little extra time to think it out, a little extra time to get it done, but
right.
It works.
And your proceeds go towards these...
This is a charity benefit. It's a fundraiser for the Angelus House.
That's what I thought. And can you tell the folks listening again what the Angelus House is?
The Angelus House is a cerebral palsy group home. We've got probably 37 residents that live out there in wheelchairs or non-ambulatory. They can have a great quality of life, but they have to have 24/7 care.
And it's 100% of your proceeds pretty much, or extras
Yep,
go?
everything but the bills.
Right, of course, yes. So also you have a trick-or-treat Halloween night for kids, right? With
Yes, we do.
Live, and your fire dancers. Like I wanted to see those last
We
year.
have the craziest fire dancers. A little gal named Amber heads it up. She's been doing it with us for years. This year, there'll be 4 or 5 fire dancers every night. They breathe and spit fire. They roll it up and down their arms. I'm telling you
Doesn't
what.
that sound like fun, Leo?
I still can't get over the fact that her name is Amber.
And she spits fire.
Yes.
I own Patriotic Fireworks, and they scare me. But they do a phenomenal job.
Definitely get on out and check out the folks at the Haunted Angelus House. Do you have some tickets that we're going to be giving away?
I'm going to give you a half a dozen of zombie midget cage wrestling tickets.
Okay, so if you want to go see zombie midget cage wrestling on the 27th, opening at 3 p.m., we have got 6 tickets?
6 tickets.
All right, so we'll divide those up. How should we? We'll just give all 6 away. How does that sound? All right. We can't do that yet because we have our guest for Scream-A-Geddon hanging out. Is that right, Pat?
That is correct.
Okay.
He is on hold. After the break, you can talk to him.
So we are going to roll to our guest for Scream-A-Geddon when we come back, and then we're going to give away some tickets. So stick around. Our studio call-in line is 888-404-1010. Again, studio call-in lines to win the tickets, not yet, but in just a few minutes, is 888-404-1010. 1010. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. This is Tampa Home Talk, and this is our special Halloween edition of Tampa Home Talk. We will be back in just a few minutes, and hopefully, Pat George, we're going to make him work overtime, get some Halloween music queued up for the rest of our show. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back. This is this week's special edition of Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. Thanks for sticking with us. In the earlier part of our show, we had Don Surenkamp with the Haunted Angelus House, and we're going to be giving away some tickets real quickly for his particular haunt, which is up in the north end, right, Hudson area?
Yes.
Okay. And without further ado, I'm going to roll to my call-in guest so that we can actually open up the lines to give away those tickets shortly. Mr. Geof, is it Kledizk? Is it Geof Kledizk? Is that right? With Scream-A-Geddon? Pat, are you there?
No, I'm here. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. I don't know where your caller is. Let's see.
He was just talking to you, wasn't he?
He was talking to me, and he is there. The system is operating. I just don't know where he's at.
Hey, Geof.
He's not going to jump out of nowhere and scare us, is he?
Maybe. It is Scream-A-Geddon. That's what
Hello,
I was wondering.
Geof, are you there? I don't know.
All right. Well, Geof, let's do this. I'm going to have Jodine call you back, Pat, and we will we'll have you call him so you can patch him, and we'll see if that works a little better. Sound good?
We'll do that.
All right. So let's roll on over to Kelly Prata. We're trying to do this here.
I know.
All right. Before we move on, let's go ahead and give away the tickets. Does that sound good? For the Haunted Angelus House. We got 6 tickets we're going to be giving away. If you call right now, Pat George, go ahead and take caller number 3, 888-404-1010, 888-404-1010. And we'll go ahead and be glad to give you those tickets for the Haunted Angelus House. Sorry. Kelly Prata with the Tampa Theater.
Yes.
So, there's word, like Jodine and I did the whole haunted tour, the Channel Side boat ride tour. What's the actual name of that, Jodine? Did I have it? Haunted River Tour. So they were nice enough to give us some tickets, and we checked it out, and it was so cool. And they talked all about Fort Brooke and a lot about the history of Tampa and the Tampa Theater being haunted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people like to say that the Tampa Theater is the most haunted building in Tampa. I don't know if that's true, but we have a few ghosts that have been found throughout the years. We've worked with some ghost hunting groups, the Spirits of St. Petersburg, and some other groups that have come in, and they've given us some stories of things that we thought we knew, and then also things that we had heard throughout the years, but that they just reconfirmed with information that they gave us. So it's interesting.
So they talked to the ghost directly and got some more information.
Yeah, like there's been years of stories about hearing keys jangling by the manager's office.
And you actually heard that?
I have.
Somebody has heard that.
People on the staff have heard it, and they finally one time had someone come in from one of these groups who said, yes, there's somebody here who did a little bit of everything at the theater, and his name is Paul. And we're like, well, we don't know anything about anyone named Paul who's ever worked here, so maybe you're a little crazy. But turns out years later, someone had found a book of old photos from the theater, and in Texas actually, and they mailed it. They asked us if we wanted them. Of course we did. So they mailed it to us, and it was a book that was, had the Tampa Theater logo on it, and on the inside it was his name. It said Managing Director Paul, and now I can't remember his last name, but it had that he was the manager of the Tampa Theater, and we're like, that's the Paul they were talking about. We didn't even know he existed. And that's was his office, and
that was his. So he didn't die in the theater, did he?
He did not.
Okay.
I mean, not that this is something to brag about, but we have had one death inside the theater. He is also one of our ghosts. It's an old. He used to do a little twirly trick when he was taking tickets. They don't know if he did it and fell and hit his head on the ground, or it was payday and they never found his check, so they don't know if perhaps somebody attacked him and took the check. It was many, many years ago, but
this is probably the only time you can get away with that story on
the
air.
Yeah, like who wants to talk about someone who was murdered and possibly murdered inside the theater?
Paul, the one that you're talking about,
yes.
That was like his home or his special place, so he made his way back to the Tampa Theater. Is that it?
Perhaps. Like I said, we don't really know much about him except that we found these photos that he was the director. One of our other ghosts was somebody who worked at the theater for decades. He did not die in the theater. He died outside the theater, but he said that the Tampa Theater was his home. So he's up in the projection booth, so no projectionist. So people say they can still smell coffee and cigarettes and the smell,
which was him.
Yeah,
right?
and he used to come in, he would drink his coffee, smoke a cigarette, shave, put on his aftershave, which was like a lilac scent. And so people claim they can still smell the lilac. And for a long time, we thought that was a perfume from a female, but turns out
then the female's gone and the smell's still there, right?
It turns out he used a lilac aftershave, and some people think they can still smell it.
So how old is Tampa Theater?
92. We just actually had our 92nd birthday on October 15th. So 1926 is when it was built.
Well, happy birthday to the Tampa Theater. So who's the most famous person that actually played at the theater?
Oh, it depends who
some
you
people claim
ask.
Elvis, right?
Yeah, no, never. We actually did not have Elvis play there. But it depends on who you ask, because everyone has their own personal favorite. Some people would say someone like Annie Lennox, who is obviously very popular. And now I'm going to blank on some other names because how that goes sometimes. But then if you ask some of the younger folks, we've had some YouTubers that come in that sell out immediately. We
wow.
had, that I've never heard of these people, but, Miranda Sings came a couple years ago. I've never heard of her. And we literally sold out in
apparently
hours.
A lot of people have heard of her.
So for the teens, that was probably the most famous person that's ever been there. But then we had Jimmy Fallon came a couple years ago and did a stand-up performance, and Lyle Lovett. And we've had some other, really
cool
big ones.
people.
But with 1,200 seats, it's got to be someone that really just wants to perform at that kind of level. And it's a very intimate venue, and it's great when we have those performances. So, but a lot of times if it's someone really big, Justin Timberlake wants to play at an arena, not at a 1,200 seat venue, unfortunately.
Right.
Even though sometimes those things would be super cool and we would love to have them there. But
that sounds like a special VIP birthday party.
Yeah.
A venue like that.
Exactly.
You might be able to get them to come perform for the right price, for
Right.
sure. So it's interesting because we talk about the whole ghost, right? And I say, have you ever seen a ghost in the Tampa Theater? You're like, not me, but other people have seen and smelled stuff.
Yes. A lot of the staff has had issues, but I don't work inside the theater. My office is outside, above in the tower above the theater. So I don't have as much interaction as, say, some of the folks that work, behind either stage hands or projectionists or even some of our concessions folks that are there late at night by themselves doing stuff
Do
like
they
that.
hear or see anything?
They do.
Sometimes?
A lot of them have had, said that they've seen, the keys jingling. People who have lost, some of our guys that have lost tools that have been like, all right, stop messing around. I need this tool. Where did you put it? And then went somewhere and came back and the tool was just sitting right in the middle of the stage kind of thing.
They're like, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
It was gone.
It was gone and now it's here. I would have known if it was right there. Things like that have happened. But I've personally not heard anything.
It's interesting because some people believe it, some people don't. And maybe that's why I don't like the hairy, scary trails. I'm just not the haunted house person. But I can tell you this, when I was a kid, I saw a ghost. And since I've been an adult, I've never seen anything. But I can tell you for sure, I've been in properties and I've felt
Your
stuff.
collar's back.
Yeah.
I have felt stuff, and literally the hair up my arms will start raising and on the back of my neck. And I can just feel it. And if you go back and you look through the records or see, a lot of times there's a death that has occurred in that property.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't had anything at Tampa Theater. At another theater I was at, I saw something, then I was like, oh gosh, I ran into this woman. It was a place I wasn't supposed to be. I'm so sorry. And the person I knew that worked at that theater was like, there's nobody else here but me. I don't know what you're talking about kind of thing, which is a little freaky. But yeah, all of our ghost stories are part of our ghost tour, so I don't want to give too many of the stories away because they'll go into a little more detail. But they do. They're doing about 7, I think, and over the first one's tonight, and then they go through the 30th. So almost every day there's a ghost tour, and it's about 75 minutes, and they go through and they tell a history of the theater also. But they kind of
And what time is that?
There are different times. So the one today I believe is at 3 o'clock, and then there's a couple that are at 11:30 over the weekend and throughout the week. There's one on Friday night that I believe is at 10:30 p.m. That'll be the really scary one, I guess. But I'm pretty sure that one's sold out because everyone really likes going at night for these kinds of things. Yeah,
of course.
So, yeah.
So Leah, what about you? Have you done any inspections in some properties and had the hair on the back of your neck raise?
I've actually done the reserve study for the tower at the Tampa Theater.
Oh.
So I've been crawling all over the tower.
Well, did you bump into anybody?
No, it wasn't overly scary. A couple of the roofs I had to go on, which were 8 or 9 stories up, and there was no railing. That was a little scary.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't work out for me.
Especially if I learned there were ghosts down there with the lights and flashing the projection. That might have made it even scarier. But yeah, been all over that building. It's very exciting. It does creak when I walk in certain areas.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's a little creepy sometimes, for sure.
As you might expect.
Of course. 100-year-old building.
Yes. All right. This is Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell, and you probably heard our break music rolling in, which means we're going to roll to a break here shortly. But when we come back right after the break, we are going to try again to get the general manager for Scream-A-Geddon, Mr. Geof Kledizk. I think I have his name correct. I'll let him correct me if I'm not correct. And in just a short while, we're going to give away some tickets to the Tampa Theater and to Scream-A-Geddon. So stick around. Our studio call-in number is 888-404-1010, 888-404-1010, and we'll be happy to give out some tickets. Not yet, but shortly. Stick around. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back. This is Tampa Home Talk, and this is our special Halloween edition show
I love this song.
of Tampa Home Talk. I know I almost did
Something strange in your neighborhood.
I love the second movie, too.
Who are you going to call? Leo Cannyn. He'll get your ghost out.
808-404-1010.
It's our studio calling line. And let's try this again. Third time's a charm, right, Pat? Do we have our general manager for Scream-A-Geddon, Mr. Geof Kledizk? Is he on?
He's on.
All right. Sorry about that. Little snafus with the studio this morning. But be glad you didn't have to drive across to Howard Franklin.
I am.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for being our guest today.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to be here.
So tell me a little bit about Scream-A-Geddon.
Scream-A-Geddon is a Halloween park just north of Tampa in Dade City. And we've got several haunted houses. We've got 5 different haunted houses. A midway where you can hang out and have food and drink, beer, wine, all kinds of games, picnic tables, bonfires, roaster, marshmallow s'mores. It's a whole evening activity.
Sounds like fun. You have new stuff, right, for this year, too?
Say again?
You have new stuff for 2018 as well, right?
We've got a lot of new stuff going on this year. We've got a brand new haunt called Demon's Revenge, which is has a lot of high-tech scares, dark, narrow passages. It is a very good haunt. It's kind of reminiscent of Salem witch times. So you will encounter all kinds of witches and all kinds of villagers who are trying to catch the witches and the witches who are fighting back.
What is a high-tech scare?
That's what I was thinking, the same thing, Leo. What is that?
Is it like my cell phone, no cell phone reception?
You may not see some of the high-tech stuff, but there is an awful lot of behind-the-scenes mechanical, digital, electronic, all kinds of stuff that takes place. They're not just simple, scares where someone might jump out and startle you. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that goes inside.
So it's now, give us a teaser.
So it's not going to be like a Black Friday camping line?
Correct. You will see witches that levitate. You'll see walls that move, by themselves. There's all kinds of fogs and lights and things that you would think that would be still move on their own. There's all kinds of surprises that are out there.
And how long has Scream-A-Geddon been around? What year is this for you guys?
This is year 4 for us.
All right. And where did the original idea come from? Were you the mastermind behind it? You've been in it all 4 years or what?
I have been there all 4 years. However, our parent company has been doing this in Indiana for about 4 more years. And they've brought the idea down to Florida along with our sister company called Treehoppers Beryl Adventure Park, which is right next door. So if you know where Treehoppers is, right where Scream-A-Geddon is.
All right. And so what makes you guys totally unique and different from the other haunts that are going on around the Tampa area?
There's all kinds of stuff that's out there. What makes us unique is we have no developed neighbors. So you're kind of out there in the woods. So for some people, they really love that kind of outdoor kind of feel. We have one haunt that literally takes you into the woods where it's nice and dark, and you meet the Tate family, and they've been living out there, and they become cannibalistic over the years. So we've got this unique hike through, the dark woods.
Are you ready to go to the dark woods, Leo?
I'm scared. I'm just scared talking to him.
Out new this year is Zombie Paintball Assault, where we have militarized school buses, mounted paintball guns. You could literally take a ride through the woods and mow down all the zombies that are living out there in the woods. That's another thing that makes us unique. Another thing is we have 2 different haunts, Infected Ground Zero and Blackpool Prison, both of which are interactive if you wish. And what that means is if you choose to wear a glow necklace that we provide as you enter the house, and if that glow necklace is on your neck, you are giving consent to be touched and moved around. So in a normal haunt, you might just walk through and you passively observe.
Leo says, sign him up.
No, I took the headphones off. This is scary.
Jodine says she'll go.
Moved around. So if one of you was to have the necklace on and the other person's not, when you go in, let's say, into the prison haunt, one of you, the one with the necklace might be put into a cell. In Infected Ground Zero, you might be pulled aside to have an experiment done on you to see if you yourself have this infection. But people talk about having it, the experience is so much different and how much they love it. Someone will come out and I'll be asking them what their experience was like, and they're having, oh, it's amazing. And I'll ask them, are you here all alone? And they're like, no, my friends are still inside. They come out moments later, 2 moments later, telling completely different stories because they had the necklace on. They had a completely different experience inside. People love that opportunity to have something, experiential like that, not just observing.
That is definitely sounds very, very interesting. You guys are right off of St. Joe Road in Dade City. Tickets start at about $20. They can get them at Scream-A-Geddon.com, right? Or they can call in, and we're going to give some tickets away. Is that right?
Excellent. They can buy them at the gate or buy them online.
And what are we giving away, Geof? How many tickets do we agree to?
I believe we're giving away 4 tickets, if I'm not sure.
Okay. Let's divide those up into 2 sets, Pat. And as soon as you can get through to the studio lines and connect with Pat, we're going to give those tickets away. We're going to give you a set of 2 tickets and another set of 2 tickets. So there are a couple opportunities to win. And then don't forget that we also have the Haunted Angelus House if those tickets are not already gone. Geof, sorry about our technical difficulties this morning, but we're glad you're here.
Glad to be here. Look forward to seeing you out at Scream-A-Geddon.
Definitely. Come check them out. They're off of St. Joe Road in Dade City, Scream-A-Geddon. Geof Kledizk, thank you very much for joining us for today's show.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. All right, without further ado, let's run to our next guest
Actually,
before
I need a break. That was very, very traumatic to me. Can we just talk about this one new listing? Just to put a pause in it. Like, I just want to say 6347 Bradford Hill Court, Wesley Chapel. My heart's rate. Feel my chest. My heart's like racing.
Oh my gosh, he is. Like he will not go to the woods in a glow necklace.
6347 Bradford Hill Court, Wesley Chapel. It's a beautiful 4-2, 2,082 square feet, 240,000, newly roofed.
This property, it's in Oak Creek. It's going to be open. We have an open house this Saturday on this particular house from 12 to 4.
Wait, so from 12 to 4, and then you can go straight to Scream-A-Geddon in Dade City after?
Yeah. So come check out Bradford Hill, 6347 Bradford Hill Court in Oak Creek, right off a handcart in that up-and-coming boomy area not far from the lagoon. And that one's only $240, and the house is only 2 years old.
And what's the number I should call to get more information on this listing?
Off-air number, 813-377-2775. You can call or text 813-377-2775. If you want to connect with myself or Leo will be glad to bring his Ghostbuster equipment and check out your house.
Thermal equipment. Yeah, and then this next one's actually, I live in Ybor City, so this next guest is setting up one of these in my town.
We're going to talk about that.
I'm scared.
So this is interesting. Shane, tell me about yourself. You're with Murder House, and how long have you been in the Tampa area?
Well, first of all, I would like to extend a thanks for having me out to the show. I'm very honored to be on Tampa Home Talk. We've been in business for 5 years now. We started as a home haunted house in the Town and Country area, and every season I would turn my own home home into a haunted house like what you would see at Busch Gardens.
That must take months of preparation to get there.
You would be surprised. It all goes up very quickly once you have some experience and once you've designed the haunted house a few times. So, but we were very, excited to invite the general public into the home setting, the home haunt there. And on our third year, we had over 8,000 people attend the event. So it just grew too large for a residential community.
It sounds like it.
And
your neighbors were probably complaining. Parking was probably a mess.
the parking was definitely the issue. The neighbors were okay because this is where I was born and raised. So my neighbors supported the event, but the parking just became unbearable with that much
People were like, I
traffic.
can't get to my driveway.
Absolutely. So then the haunted house and with Murder House, we decided to start looking into becoming a professional haunted house. And we set our sights on Ybor City, and that's because this is my hometown. And I remember the glory days of when Ybor used to shut down the streets for a special event called Guavaween.
Yes.
And so-
Guavaween. Do you remember Guavaween?
Oh, yeah.
Were you
I
here?
covered quite a few back in my radio days, interviewing the bands.
Yeah, you know, I remember, I was telling Jodine this before we came on the air. Do you remember that little head that would come on the TV when you were kids and it would go, 3 more days at Guavaween in Ybor City? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. It's not just me. Good.
No, and it was an amazing event, and that, Ybor City and Tampa has been synonymous with Halloween for some time because of, Busch Gardens and the other.
Well, I
events
have
too.
to tell you, like, not to interject, but there was a gal that was a really good friend of mine for a long time. She wrote this book on feng shui. And so if you're familiar with feng shui, some people bring it into their home. They've got some quirky little checklist of things they do and don't want, more stuff they don't want. But literally, she was like one of these super intuitive people, would not go to Ybor City for anything. She's like, it is the most haunted place in Tampa. I will not go there, especially at nighttime. It's the witching hour. She was really freaked out by that. So it's an appropriate place to have it.
It really is, and it's funny that you mentioned that because in 2016, we ran Murder House down in Ybor City in a reportedly haunted building called the Cuban Club. So I'm sure
The Cuban Club was like mafia stuff, wasn't it?
Well, back in the 20s, it was a social club for Spanish immigrants coming to roll cigars and the cigar boom of the 1920s. So, but that was an incredible experience. Now, I didn't run into any, apparitions or anything like that, and I did spend the night in a sleeping bag in that building for over a month. So it was a interesting experience, but it didn't offer.
I wonder if it's one of those things like if you want to see it, you're probably not going to see it. But if you don't want to see it, you're totally going to see it.
And that's exactly how I handled it. I really wasn't seeking these things out, so I think they just allowed me to, be in the same space without bothering me much when I was there. But this year is something entirely different. We have found the best building in Tampa to run a haunted house out of. We're very excited to share our art show with the general public, and we've leased out the infamous Tico People's Gas facility. And so this is a giant warehouse that covers over 16,000 square feet, which translates into a 25-minute haunted house. And it's unique, unlike anything that you can experience locally. And we do this with a mission and a purpose. So we raise money for local charity, the Big Cat Rescue Animal Sanctuary.
25 seconds.
We like to give back.
Yeah, you're a big supporter. We'll love to talk about that as well when we come back. Are you having a few challenges getting Murder House off the ground?
Yes, there
15.
has been challenges in working with city officials. It's been very difficult
10.
in getting
All right.
some information from them.
We're going to pipe into that as soon as we come back right after the break. Pat, George, we'll give out the studio call-in lines in just a minute. And this is Halloween edition. Welcome back. This is Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell, with Leo Cannyn.
I just want to spend the rest of the show talking about listings. I can't handle this. I thought I was brave, but I just can't handle this. I can't learn more about something in my backyard.
We have to give Shane from Murder House a chance to share with the people that love the hairy, scary trails and love that Halloween spooktacular experience.
If I want scary, I'm going in a crawl space or in an attic.
So Murder House, a little different. Ybor City, 18 and up.
Yes, this is a very different event, and that's because we're running an adult haunted attraction. And so, and Ybor City is already synonymous with, adult social spaces. So we're, recommending that children don't come to the event unless accompanied by an adult. And so with this experience, we're catering to adults and adult fun, which is, what do you do after you're too old to trick or treat? It's time to start enjoying yourself in a different way, and that's what we're aiming to do is provide that adult entertainment during Halloween.
Every year, like we get kids like all ages trick or treating, and if they got a costume on or a mask, they're gonna get candy from me. That's just how it is. I don't care if they're 42. Like we'll give them candy.
Yeah, I don't agree with the curfews that some other states are enacting on trick-or-treaters or like the age requirements. I've heard some silly stuff about other states putting curfews and age requirements on trick-or-treating, and I think that's silly.
So give somebody a sneak peek of what they can expect on Murder House.
Sure,
I don't want you to give away everything, but let's give them a little teaser on what they can expect.
This is an exciting opportunity for us, and it's the largest haunted house experience that we've ever created. We're going to have over 25 scare actors in the building. The haunted house covers a large space that is going to offer a 25-minute experience. So literally once you enter the haunt zone, you won't leave for 20 minutes of terror. And so that is a different experience.
So once you're in, you can't get out.
Correct. And so
you signing up?
No, I need like a little bucket or something when I piss my pants.
Oh my gosh, and I've had that reaction before. We are okay with cleanup. It's okay.
Wait. So people have actually done that?
People have actually, had that reaction in addition to other reactions that are, have to do with bodily functions.
That must be the adult theme.
Oh, my word.
But it's a great great thing.
What's going to be your most scary attraction? Like, what will just flip people out the most?
I think once they enter the the darkness and the fogged areas of the haunted house, they are going to be in for a sensory experience that not only is for their smell. They're also going to be.
Are you going to
visually,
be? Are you touching people?
We actually don't have to touch you to scare you at Murder House. We're running a more traditional haunt like what you would see at Busch Gardens. It's not necessary to touch people to scare them, but we are very aggressive, so everyone must sign a liability waiver to come into Murder House, and that's because accidents do happen.
And 25 minutes in, and you're not getting out. Oh my goodness!
It's like IKEA.
I had. By the way, we're going to be at the Harvest Moon Fun Farm tonight. So this is explicitly for our clients and our listeners. So if you're listening, you can call us at our off-air number, 813-377-2775, and we will send you the invitation to come. We're giving away pumpkins. Super fun event. But it reminded me of a gal that we had there a couple years ago. They opened the corn maze after dark, and she couldn't get through it. She couldn't get through the corn maze, and she was like, it was late and it was closing. And I was like, why don't you just run through the corn? Like, anyway.
Works in the cartoons.
Studio call-in number 813-377-2775. That's our author number. You can call or text, and you can just text FALL, F-A-L-L, and we will connect with you to make sure that we get you the invitation and the information to come. 813-377-2775. Mr. Pat George is going to be out there with us, and when he's not in the studio, he's serving hot dogs or playing music somewhere.
Yeah, you're right about that. And am I supposed to give out this number for the Murder House?
Yes. Let's do it. You ready? All right.
888-404-1010.
Murder House.
So we're going to give away 5 2-packs of tickets. So 2 tickets for 5 people. Next 5 callers, 888-404-1010. Pat George will take down all your information. We'll call you back and give you the hookup for these hairy, scary clowns. This is you in the picture. Thank goodness he didn't dress like that when he came in this morning. I might not have been able to do it.
You wouldn't have had a sidekick.
And then there's no Leo, so it would be up to Pat. And you guys would have to connect all this equipment. I don't think it would be fun. All right. So what else? Talk about it. So you're not touching people, not really kid friendly. Is it going to be open year round or are we just Halloween?
So Murder House does intend to run special events on select nights throughout the year, but that's going to be when we're able to lock in a permanent location for the event. So
this year's temporary, and we're still pending some stuff with the city, right?
Yeah, we're still pending. Our permit is in process with the city. Now, Murder House is ready to go. We are up to code and ready for inspection. And it's just been a real challenge in working with city officials to get the information necessary for what requirements that they would like to see in place. Obviously, Murder House wants to comply so that we can make a safe and fun Halloween event.
How timely was that process to get it through?
That's been the real challenge is with the paperwork permitting issues. We've had to wait 21 business days to get information from the city of Tampa because of their workload, which is understandable because Ybor City is about to undergo some major renovations, especially with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yes.
Possibly being in that area, and so I'm sure there's a lot of buildings and projects going.
It will
up.
do a lot for Ybor City for sure if that happens.
Yeah, excellent, and then that's where I also support Ybor City. We plan, we want to work with city officials to bring 10,000 people to Ybor City for a revenue opportunity. So obviously all those people that come to the haunted house would love to go down to 7th Avenue and all the businesses and establishments in the area. Plus, we raise money for Big Cat Rescue, so. Yeah. It should be a no-brainer